drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me the notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I was sipping Moet for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubbles still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bare face. Now he's got a hell behind the water's cold case. I wake up with pain sometime and never go away. Wonder why I balance to my knees.
Hey, good evening, everyone. We're joining us for episode 18 of This, That, and the Third with Shannon and Hook. Shannon, what's good with this?
Ain't nothing. What's going on? What's going on?
I can't call it.
Oh, you ready tonight?
All right,
Hold on. You ready tonight?
So, you know, last time
Okay.
he got caught slipping, but not this time. We good.
Yeah, I think we told you to bring a drink, but
yeah. I forgot.
So today we're discussing what has 2024 taught us. So, you know, like it can be, we're really going to be sharing and discussing like lessons we've learned this year. It can be new lessons, or it can be things that we already knew, but maybe were reinforced depending upon the circumstances. So we're going to do a bit of a round robin here, just going to talk about things we've learned, and we're going to just create some conversation around those topics. But before we get started, we do have a first timer here, and we're going to give her an opportunity to herself. So if you will, take it away.
Absolutely. My name is Lakeisha Ashford. I am from Winsboro, South Carolina. I spent a great deal of time in Columbia before moving to Charlotte. I've been here since 2018. My favorite thing to do is to have fun, laugh, create great experiences. And I think the most exhilarating experience I've had thus far has been skydiving. So, yeah.
Girl. I keep saying that's on my bucket list, but I ain't got that courageous yet. Yeah.
You have to do it at least once. So,
I feel like my heart explodes.
Nah, that's something I always wanted to do. I haven't had an opportunity to yet, but it's on my bucket list, though.
Yeah, you definitely have to do it. There's a spot about an hour away from Charlotte whenever you're in town, right? We can coordinate a weekend where we go up there and we can have an experience, go have some dinner afterwards, and, you know, let it be what it is. We can talk about what that experience was like. And it was funny because two friends and I went, and when we got off when we landed and we were taking off all of the equipment, we had some friends that were waiting on us, and someone snapped a picture, and we actually looked like Charlie's Angels getting off. Yeah, it was a really dope picture.
Epic moment. I feel like I'm gonna wait till I'm 90, you know, Jimmy Carter's age, and then I'm gonna do like he did and go jump out of a plane.
You have to do it.
In 90.
Yeah.
Nah. And for the viewers, we want you guys to react, comment, share, and subscribe. So we bring you A1 content here, so we don't want you to miss out. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Keisha, since you're a first timer, we're gonna kick it to you. So tell us something that you learned in 2024. What has 2024 taught you?
2024 has taught me the power of letting go and and how it benefits self-care. For me, I think sometimes I can hold on to some things, and sometimes I can be a little stagnant, and letting go for me, there have been some really interesting things that have happened to me over the last couple of years that I kind of held on to. And so with everything coming full circle, I decided to let it go. And it's been a couple of things, to be honest with you, that specific issue. And then, a couple of connections that I had it was weighing me down. I feel like it was weighing me down. And I just had to, you know what? Everything comes to an end. Nothing is meant to last forever. So,
yeah, that's
I can understand.
Yeah.
And I think that self-care for me is the biggest takeaway from what you said you learned.
Absolutely.
Really, like, because you got to take care of yourself, but sometimes to do that, you got to be willing to let go. I think sometimes we tend to hold on to things a little bit too long. Like, we know we need to let go, but for whatever reason, it could be we're afraid of change. We don't want to, disrupt anything. And sometimes the best thing to do is to understand that sometimes certain things have run their course, and there's nothing else that you can gain or get from that situation. So, and when you let go, you kind of look back on it, because I've been there as well. I've held on to things too long, and like, just a little while after I let go, I'm like, I should have did this shit like eons ago. You know what I'm saying? So, and sometimes you just got to connections, definitely.
Absolutely. And what I realized is that, I guess before I was so hung up on, the self-care thing. Oh, I got to go to the spa. I have to go get my nails done. And then I realized, that's self-maintenance. That's not self-care. Self-care is protecting your heart. Self-care is letting go of things that isn't serving you, or it isn't benefiting you, or, maybe it's draining you in a way, you're losing sleep or whatever it is causing you that isn't, bringing about some positive changes, or something positive as a whole, it's like, that's not loving yourself, that's not allowing yourself to be your best. So
I agree. I like that you pointed out that getting your hair done, your nails done is not self-care. Because I know a lot of women think that is how they care for themselves, right? That really is another form of stress. Absolutely. Right? Having to make sure that your hair is done, your nails are done, and you look a certain way because you got to keep up an image or whatever, reason you do it. I like that you point out that that's not really self-care. It is those things you talked about, like protecting your well-being, your mind, your mental, your physical. Those things related around self-care. And that's one of the big things I have learned this year, is what self-care really is. Because I would think too, like, just sleeping was enough to say you're caring for yourself, but you're allowing so much stress into your life that is making you feel like you just gotta get rest. I'm always tired. I'm always tired. But it's really because you're not making those good decisions to care for yourself when you're dealing with people. So I learned that this year, that your no has to be a full sentence.
That's right.
I'm not doing it. It's no. There's no explanation behind it. It ain't got to be. It's just fucking no.
Right. I agree. I totally agree.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Absolutely.
I've also had to let go.
What about you?
Oh, go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say, what have you learned? What has 2024 taught you?
Are you talking to me or Keisha? You keep breaking up a little bit, Hook. I'm sorry.
I thought it's you, Shannon.
Oh, okay. So another thing 2024 has taught me is really being at peace with letting go of things that I once cherished. Not just letting go of things, because you can let go of things that really didn't mean a whole lot to you. You're just like just doing it, but letting go of things that you once thought that you would never get rid of, that they will always be there. Friendships, situationships, You know what I'm saying? Like just all those things that you just never imagine not being a part of your life. And I've had to let go of people that I thought were like sisters and brothers to me. Just because they no longer fit into my life and where I am right now, and they don't add value. And that's self-care. And I had to learn that that's okay. It's okay. Just because somebody's been your friend for 25 years does not mean they have to be your friend for another 25 years.
That's right.
You know, and before that was just really hard for me to even contemplate letting go of someone I spent that much time with. But this year's taught me that it's okay.
It's okay.
There's no love lost. You know, if you got a flat tire on the side of the road, I'm gonna stop and help you. But that's about it. That's about it.
I totally agree. I've been there as well. I remember back in October, I had to cut 2 people off on the same day. So, and it was one of those things. It goes back to cutting off, you know, letting
the
go.
Cutoff game. That cutoff game.
Absolutely. Create a boundary. Like you don't get a chance to hurt me twice, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it was cool one day. And I think back to that day, I was kind of emotional about it. You know, you have to go through that whole grieving process. But you know, when you look back on it, you're like, it was totally worth it. It was needed. It was necessary.
You kind of liberate yourself. You don't realize how bogged down you are by trying to hold on to things that just don't serve you anymore, right? You're trying to. And I ain't perfect now. I still got some stuff I need to work on cutting off. So we're going to work on that before the new year. But you bog down. Like life ain't happy. Life ain't as fun. You open yourself up to so many more blessings when you stop weighing yourself down by things that are just eating at you. So yeah, it's definitely liberating.
Absolutely.
Definitely liberating.
There's one thing that both of you guys said, let it go in his frozen voice.
Let it go.
What's up, Joe?
I know. And there's one thing that both of you guys said that both of you touched on. Keisha, you mentioned self-care. And Shannon, you mentioned right? And I think a huge part of self-care and self-love is also honesty. And not just being honest with yourself and your situation and where you stand, but also being honest with yourself about the people in your circle. Like, is this person really benefiting me? Am I learning from this person? Do I really need this life? Like, are they making me better? Are they bringing me down? So oftentimes all this encompasses loyalty.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody's like, be loyal. Loyalty is this major thing. And it is. It's good to be loyal, but I think sometimes it can be a detriment because when you're too loyal and people understand just how loyal you are, they're going to take advantage of that and they're going to take advantage of you. So there has to be a boundary. So you have to have a safe space where, you know what, I'm going to be loyal to this person, but not to the detriment of myself.
Right. Absolutely. I think sometimes we can find ourselves in situations where we're more loyal to others than we are to ourselves. And the expectation is to have that ebb and flow in a connection, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. It's one of those things it's like you give and take. But then sometimes you find yourself in situations where it's like, I'm the one that's constantly sharing my knowledge or my time or my energy. I'm showing up, and then I'm the only one showing up. So then it's like, what happens if I don't show up? And it's like, oh, you know, I haven't talked to you in 6 months. So it happens. Definitely have to be loyal to ourselves as well.
You're one.
Yeah.
And for me, like one of the lessons that I've learned this year is to advocate for myself more than I think. I think oftentimes we try not to be we don't want to come off as arrogant or elitist or anything like that. But I think that your biggest cheerleader is going to be yourself. It's okay to cheer for yourself. It's okay to pat on the back, and it's okay that people know I'm her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And I think that we do enough of because there's a line between confidence and arrogance, but I sometimes I think those lines are blurred, but by all means, I think that we should all be able to advocate for ourselves.
Absolutely. Because I always feel like, you know, no one is going to protect you like you are going to protect you. And sometimes when, you know, you find yourself in situations where, you know, people are taking advantage of yourself, and you have to realize, because it's so easy to blame everyone else, right, for what they did to you. But the reality is like, oh, well, maybe I didn't have boundaries set up, or maybe I didn't honor my feelings, or I didn't honor, you know, what I wanted out of the situation. And like you mentioned, just with the, you know, the advocacy, you know, sometimes when someone doesn't, you know, meet your expectations, you do have to be vocal about it. Not necessarily, you know, mean or rude or disrespectful, but just simply say, hey, you know, this was my expectation. And unfortunately, you know, that expectation wasn't met. So what can we do differently next time, you know? So.
Absolutely. And I think that, again, oftentimes, like people, you show people how to treat you. You know what I mean? Like, if people treat you bad, it's, you know, you have a say in that. Sometimes you got to protect people and let them know not the one. You know, so sometimes you have to step for yourself. And I'll be honest, that's not something that historically I've always done. I had to learn to be that way over the years, and I'm glad I'm finally there, because it's like I think Shannon said, very liberating.
Right, absolutely. So what was that aha moment that made you realize that, hey, I haven't been advocating for myself, and this is something that I'm going to take the courage to do moving forward?
For me, honestly, it was therapy. Therapy is what got me to really see a lot of things, because oftentimes, like for me, like growing up, right, people said that I used to get mad about everything, or, you know, whatever, but that wasn't the case. Like, I would only get upset when I felt somebody was coming at me the wrong way, and they would gaslight me into thinking the way I was feeling was wrong. Like it's wrong for me to get upset because they're trying to tease me. So I had to understand, like, you know, it's okay to feel how I feel, but I had to draw a boundary to let people know that, you know, it's what you're saying is not okay, and I'm gonna give you a pass this time, but just don't let it happen again.
This time.
I'm
sorry, y'all. I'm having some PC problems. So y'all excuse me. I missed a little bit of the conversation. But we back together.
It's all. What's another lesson you learned?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What's another lesson you learned in 24?
I'm gonna be honest with that was probably the biggest lesson, and probably I'm not gonna say the only lesson, but it was just the most pivotal. And I pretty much feel like almost every aspect of my life kind of wraps around that one lesson, if that makes sense, with everything that has transpired throughout the year. I would say that's it. That's my thing.
Okay. Shannon, what about you? Has 2024 taught you anything new or anything that was reinforced?
Yeah, so one thing it taught me was to trust myself. You know, I went through a real traumatic experience 6 years ago, and trying to like go through a process of kind of rediscovering who you are and what you want and who Shannon O'Berry is, you know, without a partner, without all the things, has just taught me to trust myself. Like, I got this. I know what I need to do. I know what Shannon needs for herself. And it may not look like what other people think I need for myself. Other people may not agree with it. And that's perfectly okay. Like, I remember having a conversation with a friend, and we were having a disagreement about how she perceived my character to be about something. And I had to just tell her that I accept how you feel. You know, it wasn't an argument. wasn't, me trying to explain that's not who I am. That's not what I was thinking, blah, blah, blah. It was just, I accept that. And, and I am who I am. I'm 47 years old. Like, you can't teach me a whole lot of new tricks. I'm good. Right. And just being able to really sit in that space and be okay with that.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm responsible for myself. I'm responsible for my wins, my losses, and no one else has a right to give me their opinion about it. Or they can say what they want to say, but they don't have to think that I'm going to accept their opinion.
Right.
It's not make me change who I am. So just learn how to sit in that. Right. And 2024 has really taught me that it's okay to sit with myself.
Right.
And be okay with myself.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All of me. I love all of me. I love me so much. It might make people sick how much I love me.
Yeah, it seems like a very matter of fact type of thing, but I mean, like, because oftentimes we reach out to people, we seek advice and stuff like that, but sometimes just trust your own instinct, trust your own gut, because for the only person who's going to have to live with the consequences is you.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I had to give to my daughter too. My daughter, she's only 26. She loved calling me every 5 minutes, asking me my opinion about stuff. And I just was like, girl, don't call me no more. Right. Let me give you what it took me 47 years to figure out. Make your own choice. Right. You'll be fine. And even if it fails, you'll be fine. Right. Like, do your own thing, because you can't keep worrying about what other people are going to think.
That's right.
What other people
are going to get 20 different answers.
Yeah. Whoever you ask, depending on their life experience, they're going to tell you something different.
Yeah.
Right. So sit with yourself, sit in your own shit and be all right with it. Right. So that's what I learned the most. My son told me earlier, he said he learned not to be broke. That was his big lesson. Don't be broke. Well, I was like, okay.
I mean, that's actually a good one.
I agree.
What'd you say, Keisha?
Yeah, I just want to chime in on that. Having my, I too had a very, very traumatic experience, right? One in which I thought like I was not going to be here to talk to you, right? Or make it to the next minute, right? And as you go through that healing process, and I've had a lot of therapy, and I tell my therapist all the time, like, I love therapy. I feel like, I can teach it now, I know been to so many classes, whatever. But, just being in a space where you're able to, like you said, just be who you are. And sometimes certain experiences is going to change you, right? But then you have to go through that process of rediscovering who you are, what you need, what you want, and being able to, one, accept it, and then secondly, get the people that's around you to accept that part of you as well. It's really, really a really big metamorphing process, or a metamorphosis type of process where, at least for myself, I felt like I was just so broken, not to get emotional or anything like that, but I had to go through that whole entire process of healing and figuring out, who am I after this, right? Because in a weird way, I think I went through a process where I wanted to get the old Keisha back, but then I had to think, and just through prayer and my faith, and it's like, what, this situation wasn't presented to me in a way that made me need, I guess, the old Keisha. I was put in that position so that I can grow into who I am now. You know what I'm saying? So, and then of course you have to go through that process, because I know for me, I fought so hard. Like, I just want her back. I want to do the things that I was doing before. That's where I was the most comfortable. But then at the same time, going through that process, even though I don't wish it on my worst enemy, it was one of the most challenging things I've ever had to deal with. But at the same time, I will say that it has also been one of the most rewarding things that I've gone through. You know, not necessarily the situation itself, but just the processes that, you know, getting through it, the people that I met. Oh my goodness, like I would be here for days telling you about that. But yeah, so that was just meant for you to grow.
Well, just listening to you talk about that, it's just like, that's beautiful, right? And we always think that through our trivia, we're going to lose ourselves. But really, through our traumas and the things we go through and our trials and tribulations, we gain ourselves, right? We learn who we really are. Like, I feel like I'm the strongest I've ever been. And I always thought I was a strong woman, but I ain't never been this strong. Like, never. Like, you know, just a whole nother level of, I like how you use that word acceptance. You know, acceptance of who I am, acceptance of all the things I've been through, all the things I've experienced, all the things I've done, and just, you know, and just understanding that you can be better.
Absolutely.
I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
I also think women have more than men. You know.
No comment.
You know,
but I mean, oftentimes when we go through, stuff, like while we're going through it, it may make us feel one way, but I think that we're always better at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I agree.
We are who we are because of the things that we've been through and the experiences. So I may not have enjoyed the ride, but I'm appreciative in result because I would not be who I am had I not experienced the things. I would not have been able to be a good husband if I hadn't gone through, for lack of a better phrase, a bunch of random bitches. And so it's you have to be able to experience those things to really appreciate when you do have somebody that that, you know, it is certainly better for you.
Right.
And another thing that, and we already touched on it, another thing is that I've always known this, but I think it just got reinforced this year. Love from the people who love you.
Yeah.
Because we have these relationships, right? I mean, I have a big family, right? Huge family, but I understand that because we have that huge family, everybody's relationship within that family is not going to be the same. So I would love for them to support a lot of the things that I do. Most times not, but you know, I have people in my back who I'm not blood related to. You know what I'm saying? So that just, you know, these people know that, and I'm not like, if I call you and tell you I need something, I really need it, because otherwise I'm not gonna call you at all. But I have people who I know, if push came to shove, and they aren't blood related to me, but I can call them, and I know. Conversely, I have people in my whole life that if I call them, everybody will know about it. Right? You know, like, well, you know, Hook did this or Hook did that, or, you know what I'm saying? So you just have to. I've come to the point in my life now where I'm going to love who loves me, and whether we're family, whether we're people, you know what I mean, whatever it is, it's who. If you show me that you have my back 100%, you're gonna get that back from me tenfold.
Yeah. And that's pretty dope. I had to come to realization with that too. You know, like even today, I'm sitting here thinking about, oh, you need to reach out to so and so. You need to text so and so and see how they're doing. But I'm like, this person don't never text me, right? If I don't call them, if I don't reach out to them, I'll never hear from them. Right. They don't invite me nowhere. They don't include me in anything. Why are you still trying to hold on to a person that obviously don't really want nothing to do with you, right? Right. And that's that, not focusing on the people who are really in your life, the people who already love you, right? If you want to call and see how somebody's doing, call the person back who called you yesterday that you forgot to call back, right?
Totally.
Yeah. Don't call the person and you like, oh, what? I wonder what's going on with them. You ain't heard from them in 6 months. They ain't thinking about you, right? They not thinking about you.
That goes back to that first point that I made. Sometimes you gotta let it go because you realize like what I thought was really isn't. And it's a hard pill to swallow.
You know,
yeah. And then I also realized that go ahead, Hook.
No, go ahead, Shannon.
That, you know, you don't have to have long conversations with people. You don't have to see people every day to stay connected to them. Like I have friends that sometimes we just busy. Our schedules don't, you know, always jive. But every now and again, they may get a heart from me, right? They may get a smiley face from me. Just something simple to let people know that you mean something to me. You're still in my life. I'm still thinking about you. I'm just busy. All right, I got life. Life is lifing. That's a thing too. Right. So even when you have somebody that cannot even express an emoji to say, hey, you know, your thought of why you still worried about those people?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm definitely a person that reach out to people. You know, if someone crossed my mind, it's just I'm just really, really big on it. And I know a lot of people, and it's really funny because like, hey, you know, you crossed my mind today. I hope you're doing well. You know, even if it's just, you know, that. And I remember earlier this year, as a matter of fact, it was someone that I had worked with when I moved to Charlotte. A gentleman that I met at work, and we ended up living in the same neighborhood. We ended up becoming really, really good friends. And so some kind of way, you know, life took us into a completely different direction, so what have you. And I remember at the end of last year, I reached out. I never got a response. And I wasn't really thinking about it because, you know, I'm going through all my own process, right? You know, I'm going through life is, you know, being what it is for me as well. And so a few months later, I reached out again. I never got a response. And so over the summer, something said, well, Keisha, just go to his Facebook page. But we weren't Facebook friends. So anyways, long story short, yeah.
So did he delete you?
No, we were never Facebook friends. It was
okay.
I don't know why we weren't Facebook friends. I guess we were friends in real life. So I don't know. But
wait a minute, girl, there's a difference. What you talking about? Hold up.
Not that it's a difference, but some connections. You know what I'm saying? It's like I know you're in real life, so I talk to you regularly.
Yeah.
So, and then you have those people that you know our connection is on Facebook. You know, and I can't remember why we weren't on Facebook friends, but I just happened to go to his Facebook page and realized that he wasn't even here anymore, which is why I wasn't getting a response. And so with that being said, I'm really big on if someone crosses my mind, you know, because you never know what people are going through, right? But then at the same time, it's like, okay, can I be the only one reaching out like 100% of the time? You know,
I'm over that.
Figure out exactly where that line is drawn, you know, because I think for me, one of the challenges that I do have when it comes to the letting go, it's like, okay, well, is this a reasonable reason to let go? Because the same way that I have my life and, you know, I'm busy and I'm doing XYZ, they have theirs. And am I being ignored or excluded, or is it just by happenstance, you know, because life is happening for each of us. So I think sometimes it can be a little bit challenging when determining, you know, when that time is. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember, I'm sorry, I don't want to overtalk here, but I remember
go ahead.
Where someone called me, and because of what I was experiencing at that time, and they were aware. And she called me once and apparently left a message. I didn't get the message. And when I spoke to her like 3 months later, she said, oh, I thought we weren't friends anymore because you didn't respond to me. And it was literally one missed call. And so at that point, I really didn't know how to feel. It's an interesting situation as to how it how it ended. But the reality of it is that, you know, with that experience, I realized that maybe sometimes we can jump the gun. Maybe things aren't what it appears to be from our point of view, and we are feeling like we're neglected or being abandoned, when that may not be the case. That person could just be going through what they're going through, but at the same time, we're looking at it as they're not showing up. So I think for me, I am in a place where I am also, although one of the biggest lessons that I've learned has been the power of letting go and how it benefits my self-care, but at the same time, being reasonable within that let go, because you can't let go of everybody because they, piss you off. You know what I'm saying? So
let them all go, Tisha. Let them all go. Let them all go. Because I'm sitting here listening to you talk, and I'm thinking about like even those friends that are that needy, where me missing one phone call makes you blow up to the point where it's like, girl, what? Like you have
right.
no idea what's happening to me. But if you are that needy,
Right.
I understand what you need, and I accept that. Right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I accept that.
That was one that I had to snip. But
yeah,
then I looked at it from her point of view, where there's one missed call, and you automatically assume that the relationship has been compromised. Not realizing that you thinking the relationship has been compromised and you responding the way that you responded is what's compromising the connection.
Yes.
If for that reason, if I like you said, if I miss one phone call and you only called me once, you didn't even follow up. We've had 50 phone calls. I only missed one. And all of a sudden you're thinking that we're no longer friends. Are we really friends?
Yeah, that part.
You get what I'm saying?
That part.
So all I'm saying is, on the flip side, is that I don't want to be that friend who my friend misses my call and all of a sudden I'm cutting.
You ain't worth nothing. You ain't worth a damn. What'd you say, Hook? You cut off.
No, because we all like, if it's me and if I call one of my friends and they don't answer, like I'm not going to automatically assume the worst. You know what I'm saying? Like they may be busy, they may be whatever. And let's say 2 weeks go by and they still don't reach out. Well, shit, at that point, I'm worried. So I'm going to reach out to them again. Or I'm going to text them, reach out to somebody, a mutual friend or whatnot. But I'm just not going to assume that they don't want to be bothered, because it can be any number of things. Because like with me, people know if you call me, I'm going to answer. If I don't answer, I'm going to call you back as soon as I can. But there are days that I don't want to be bothered. And it's nothing personal, so I don't call back right away. And what my friends do, like, they know I'll call back right away. They'll call me a couple days later. Hey, man, I call you. Everything all right. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know who you're dealing with. And if it's somebody who's really a true friend, then it shouldn't. There's no like. I'm just not going to automatically
make that assumption.
I'm just not going to automatically worse at all. It's because everybody's going through something. Some of us just don't open up and talk about it. We're all fighting our own individual struggles. So I just think that if you're true friends, if you truly value the relationship, I think you'll give it some time.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. That was kind of one of the, I guess, it was a part of the thought processes that I had when I made the decision. I let her know. I told her directly, because after everything was said and done, she's like, "Well, my bad," And she said, "I'm sorry.
My bad.
It was
my bad.
Apology." And I just told her that I just don't think that is the way that friends, respond to one another. And I told her straight up, I said, "Of course you want to be my friend because I'm a great friend, but I cannot say the same about you. So therefore, we're gonna let this be."
Yeah.
This energy and I told her.
I tell you, no, full stop. It's a complete sentence. It's okay. Absolutely. Yeah, it's okay.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's still a challenge. So even if you learn all these lessons in 2024, you still gonna have to perfect them in 2025. I mean, life. We look at each year and we try to reflect and see how we've grown or how we have not grown. And then we start going into the new year, making resolutions like we're going to do even better. And I know last year I didn't do none of the stuff I said I was going to do.
Gotcha.
Not at all. But
we're going to make a change for 2025.
Yeah, like I'm still working on that gym upstairs that I started back in January, right? It's okay, but it's okay, right?
No, and speaking of that though, like I think that a big thing that I can't say I learned, but something that I truly going forward I am going to live by is that your values aren't really real until your actions reflect that. You know what I mean? Like oftentimes we say what we believe in, and we say, you know what I'm saying, we have all these values and morals, but our actions don't necessarily align with that. Like I can't say, oh, I'm a great husband, but I'm out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I can't say,
absolutely.
Yeah, I can't say I love the Lord, or I wanna better my relationship with God, and I'll never go to church. I don't ever read the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I think oftentimes, especially with social media, we say things just because it sounds good, or because we want to get a lot of likes or a lot of reactions or whatnot. But are we truly embodying what those things actually mean? And especially now, and I've grown. Oh God, like you guys haven't known me. Anybody who's known me longer than a decade, they know the person I used to be. And I was a great person. Don't get me wrong.
She told us. She told you was you.
Yeah.
She schooled us.
Man, like I mean, I know I'm a great person, but I had my faults morally. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's my goal now is I have daughters, obviously, so I want to be that role model for them to show them what a healthy relationship looks like, what a good man looks like. So before I do anything now, I think about how my actions are going to impact my family. And I think that's the biggest thing. What's my wife going to think about me? What are my daughters going to think about me? What is my wife's family going to think about me? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think before I do anything, and temptation is you know, it's real. It's out there. Let's just be honest. But before I do anything, like it's not even worth it, because I have a great life. I have zero complaints. It's stress-free. It's, you know what I mean? It's loving, you know what I mean? And I don't want to do anything that's going to disrupt that. So even if I ever thought about doing anything at all, like, is that one little small action even worth losing everything you worked so hard to build? Right. So I think that it's about thinking and being mindful about what you actually have and really appreciating that, but also making sure that your values are really aligning to
I like that 2024 has taught you accountability. That's what it sounds like, right? You're focusing on being accountable to other people and not just what you want. And I think that's pretty dope, because most people aren't going around holding themselves accountable to something other than themselves, right? And then, you know, people always talk about how they're private. They're private. This is one of my pet peeves, because, you know, I'm an open book. People talk about they're private, but really to me, oftentimes what they be saying is that my actions don't align with the things that I say. So I don't want to share a lot about myself with you, because you're going to find out that these two people are totally different. One is an image and one is actually who I am. And I'm really out here doing dirty stuff. But I'm online preaching the good book and telling you how great I am and all these things. So I like that you're accepting accountability and not living in a space where you're like, oh, well, you know, I can have these double standards about myself and it's perfectly fine. I just say I'm private. I'm good.
You know, because I've had relationships in the past, right? When, you know, I wasn't on the even keel, and I wouldn't post my relationships on Facebook because I wasn't doing it. So that's why I wasn't posting. So now I have no issues posting anything, because I mean, there's nothing anybody can go back and say or do, say he been in my inbox or he been, you know, out with me last weekend. They can't say any of those things. So, and honestly, man, when I tell any man, like, this shit is so fucking liberating. It's crazy. It's no stress.
So much.
Stress. I can leave my phone out. I ain't got to worry about nobody calling me all times of night. I ain't got to worry about it in public together. people to see us. Listen, man, this is freedom. It
Right.
is really what it is. And
real freedom.
I'm
Real
enjoying it.
freedom. Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Right.
So with that
Mhm.
particular process, you having that aha moment that this is what you wanted to do differently, right? Was there some, I guess, extreme experience that made you make those changes, or was it one of those things where you just woke up one day and say, you know, I'm tired? So what brought about it?
I think it was the latter. There wasn't like anything extreme that happened. But it was me waking up one day and really just saying, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's you like that's no way for anybody to live, man. Like,
No.
Right.
you can't you on pins and needles. You can't really like, because even I got friends or whatever, right? And if we had a function and I go live on Facebook or something, the first thing they're gonna say to me is, "Man, don't put me on Facebook." Like, nigga, what the fuck you got to hide? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, yeah, so I don't need that kind of pressure, and it's like, so I don't. It's well, I mean, I'm almost 50 years old, so I mean, at some point you got to come on in anyway, right?
Right.
Oh, do you? Because there's a lot of y'all still out there.
Yeah, I need to bring you into my.
And I wish I would have done this a long time ago, because I mean, don't get me wrong, like when I doing those things, that what I thought that's what men did. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't. It's not like I had like the ideal father figure raising me to say, hey, this is how you treat women, what you do. So these are things I had to learn on my own. And you know what I mean? And certainly I'm not saying that I'm an angel or I'm perfect, because I still have my imperfections, but I'm accountable for my actions now. Yeah. So if I do something, I can't blame anybody else. I can't blame society. I can't blame the person, the other people. I have to be accountable. I do actions, everything else, and I think that's the biggest thing. Once people like, and again, therapy helps, because it made me realize when I'm faced with anything, before I like say, well, this person did this to me, the first thing I look at is, okay, what did you do? What could you have done differently? You know what I'm saying? To solve this shit. And by doing that, all of my relationships have really prospered. Like with me, not just with my wife, with my siblings, with my family, with my friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, even if somebody wrongs me, I don't look at what they did. I look at what I did and what I've done differently. And I say, you know what? I'm fucked up. I could have done differently. I could have done this differently, and I'll do better. I don't ask them, hey, can you change too? Because that's not for me to do. That's on them. But I can just acknowledge what I could have done.
Right.
But when you do that kind of work for yourself, it is liberating. You know, it's like, you reach a new level in life where you're not worried about what someone else is doing. You're not worried about what somebody else is going to say about what you're doing. You're just doing what's best for you.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? And the people around you. And like you said, all your relationships prosper because of that. Like that's what it's about.
Accountability is big. I'm really heavy on accountability. Oh.
That's the word for 2024. Absolutely. Accountability. Look, Hook, you gave us the word last time. You schism. I learned a new word last time, and now it's accountability.
Yes. And I would also add to that being self-aware, because I think they kind of go hand in hand. You know, it's like, okay, one of the ways that you're able to be accountable for yourself is to know who you are, right?
Yeah.
Know what you're capable of doing, being honest with yourself, and hey, they go hand in hand.
That's the hard part, being honest with yourself, because
absolutely.
I lost a little weight and I was still trying to shop in Lane Bryant, and it was like, girl, this ain't your stuff. Right?
I feel you, and you look amazing.
Thank you. But I was really in there. I done bought all kind of sizes, and I only had to tell myself that Let it go. Let it go.
That's right. Let it go.
Yeah. So just being self-aware, like being
Mm-hmm.
honest with yourself about what you need and
Mm-hmm.
where you are in life at this point in time, and making good choices that reflect that. Like I think
Absolutely.
that's a good thing. So awareness, I'm sorry, self-awareness and accountability. That's our words. That's our
Absolutely.
words. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
And
You gotta first
no.
to acknowledge that there's an issue. Like if you don't acknowledge that there's a problem, you're never gonna overcome it. If you keep,
I agree.
if you're not honest with yourself, saying, you know what, I have a problem, I need to work with myself, it's never gonna get better. So you have to first do that. And really, when we talk about honesty, I think it's hardest to be honest with ourselves, primarily because we all have this I guess with our imagination, we have this image of us that we want people to see, but we seldom want to just be honest and accountable and say, you know what, I'm not that person I portray myself as. I need to be better. I need to, this is my fault. This is what I need to work on. But in 2025, accountability has got to be the word primarily, because there's so much that's where it starts. You got to be honest with yourself first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wish we could put that liberation you talked about in a jar and sell it. Because I think when people realize when they take certain positions in their life and how liberating it can be, like even when you not just marry someone, but when you actually become a husband, become a wife, and like all the things you talked about, Hook, that's so liberating, right? Like, I think most people don't even understand what level of life that takes you to. You like open up a whole new I don't even know the word, but new galaxy of life when you kind of take a step back and do that work and be accountable and sit in that space and realize that like this is what it really matters, right? This is how life really is supposed to work. And I think people struggle so much they don't let themselves get to a point where they can just be liberated.
Right. And the stuff that I used to do, like I don't even care to do anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like especially like not during football season, every Saturday and Sunday, I'm out, you know what I mean? Even if I'm just at the bar or something, you know what I mean? It's like I'm there with the fellas hanging out, watching the game, whatever. But shit, now Friday night, I go buy me a 12-pack that's gonna last me the entire weekend. And Saturday and Sunday, I'm in the house. And you know what I'm saying? Like if one of the fellas call and say, hey, I want to go watch the game somewhere, I just tell my wife, hey, me and my homeboy gonna go out. And she don't even give me a lot of flex about it because I don't go nowhere. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes you probably want to get me out the house. You know what I'm saying? So but it's you just look at things as you get older. I know we're all 40 plus, but you never stop learning. And as you get older, you really start realizing what's important. And for me now, like I'm in the, I guess I'm middle aged now. So the rest of my life is now
on the other side of the mountain, Hook. We on the other side of the mountain.
I know. So so now my focus is really making sure that my daughters are good. Like they, have a clear path where they want to go. I got nieces and nephews, so I want to make sure that I instill as much, knowledge on them as possible. And really focusing on me and my wife becoming empty nesters in about 3 or 4 years. So
I know that's right.
That's kind of where my focus is. And people, even some of my homeboys still give me a hard time, like, man, you old, you this, you that. And I'm like, well, you know what? I am old. I'm almost 50. Right. So I mean, it's time to start acting like it.
Absolutely.
I have a question now. What is there anything that y'all have learned about work? Any lessons you learned about work in 2024?
Let me think.
I like working from home.
Yeah. I do too, Hook. I do too. Love it.
I would definitely say I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with not, like, if I can go to work every day and not talk to anybody, I'm good. Like, you know what I'm saying? But in my role, I have to interact with people. and they really think that I'm an extrovert, but I'm not. I'm so introverted, it's crazy. But it's that I have to put on. But it's for me. And really at work, the same lesson I follow in life is the same thing I follow at work, and that's to mind my own business and don't get into the the drama, because there's always workplace drama somewhere. And I just avoid it like the plague. I mean, I'm the same every day with everybody. I don't gossip. I don't talk about people. And if somebody brings something to me, the only thing they're gonna get out of me is, wow, that's crazy.
Right.
I have a coworker that just says, "Wow, amazing, amazing!" Right? That's his way of saying, "Oh, he don't care. He don't care nothing about this."
Right.
Yeah, that's all I got for him.
I learned is that work is work, and leave it there.
That's right.
Leave it there, because sometimes we bring so much of our work home, and then we have nothing to give to our families, right? We have nothing else to give to the people who are in our lives who love us. And if they don't want you at that job, they will let you go and think nothing of you, right? And I had to learn that. Like I have always been a person that worked a lot. I was determined to get the things done, right? No matter how long it took me to do them. But I had just learned, like 4 o'clock or 4:30, that I'm done.
Right.
I'm done, right? If I do work,
they think my coworkers, they think I be joking, right? I'm like, listen, my office hours are 8 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and at 4:31, I'm logging out, and I don't want to hear nothing about work. I don't talk about work when I'm not at work. You know what I'm saying?
We don't talk about Fight Club. We don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, they're like, I'm gonna work 2 more hours so I can get this done. I'm like, listen, if it ain't done by 4:30, it'll get done tomorrow. Because I'm not like, listen, I don't believe. I tell them I don't believe in overtime. They're like, oh, you so crazy. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like I work 8 hours a day. That's all you're getting out of me.
Look, you good. You wait to 4:31. I'm talking about 4:29.
I said I signed out at 4:30. I didn't say I'm working.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch it.
Well, for me, work, I'm pretty new to corporate, right? So my first half of my adult life, I was self-employed, right? And so when I moved to Charlotte, I went into corporate, and I kind of felt like, I didn't know where I was. I was like, say what? I have to tell you when I clock out. I got to tell you when I clock in. I got to ask permission. Like, what does this mean? And it was a major adjustment. And so at this point, I have pivoted into the securities industry, in which I really like the industry. So, but at the same time, I'm still learning to create boundaries. Like, it was really funny because my supervisor came to my desk and I was on my lunch, right? And he said, "Well, I need you to do," I said, "Listen, the computer is off, right? So when the computer is black, I'm on my time. I will do this when I clock back in, right?" And so that part for me has been very much a challenge, but I do love my job. I love the industry that I'm in, and I'm loving, I guess, the process that is taking me to grow within the specific industry. But at the same time, I am one of those people, like, when I'm not there, even when I'm there, I may not be there in this moment. And so my question to you, to both of you, have you had to create boundaries within the workplace outside of the, okay, I'm clocking out at 4:30, but like, just like throughout your work day? Have you been in a space where you've had to create those boundaries, and how did the people you created those boundaries with, especially if they were your superiors, how did they respond to it?
I've had to create boundaries. Actually, recently, I've had to create a lot of boundaries, and I've gotten from superiors that I'm resistant to change. It started to appear like there was some negativity in the way that I was setting my boundaries. And at first it bothered me a lot. But again, that whole kind of acceptance started coming back in, and that those lessons I've been learning all year. So it's like God is good, right? I had all these experiences that taught me acceptance, because I had to come to this situation now and live in that space to say, hey, it took me a minute. It took me a minute to kind of, gee, that's not what I'm doing, right? That's not who I am. Why do you see that just because I have a boundary or thing that, you know, I'm kind of set in stone about? But now it's like, okay, you know what? That's how they feel. Like, I know Shannon. I know that's not me. And I'm gonna continue to work and do the things that I know I do that reflect who I see myself as. So yeah, it didn't always go over well. But because I've had those opportunities to create in myself where I can just accept that other people may not see me the same way I see myself, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. That's their prerogative, and I have mine.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And for me, honestly, I'm going to, you know, when people, you know, they'll ask me to do certain things, you know, I'm very, I guess a gift and a curse is I'm not intimidating at all. So like, it's no matter what I say, I have a calmness about me. So when I say things, people know I'm not being, you know, an asshole, but at the same time, I say it matter of factly, so they don't know I'm not playing either. You know what I mean? Like if they ask me to do something, I might say, you know, like my lunch is like 12:30 to 1:30. They ask me to do something, I'm like, not between 12:30 and 1:30. You know what I mean? So I let them know, hey, I'm not doing anything at lunch. Or if they ask me to do something else, I'm like, sure, anytime before 4:30. So I let them know, hey, it's not like, yeah, so it's and I say those things, but also with me, like if I say something, honestly, I really don't care how they take it or how they interpret it or anything like that. That's not my problem. You know what I mean? Like my thing is to let you know where I stand. How you interpret that or how you react to it, that's on you. That's a you thing, not a me thing. So I'm not gonna, you know, I think sometimes we worry too much about like how people are going to respond to what we say. And my thing is you respond how you respond. But I'm just like, I can't be the best version of myself if I'm concerned with how Tom, Dick, and Harry feel about how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I smile, I joke. You know, if somebody says something I don't like, you know, I guess the best way to say it is I'm very emotionally intelligent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people they'll say certain things, and I consider, okay, well, am I interpreting this the wrong way? But I also consider what they may be going through, because you never know when people are having a bad day. So instead of having a knee-jerk reaction, I'll just simply think about it, take time to process it, and come up with a creative way to respond to it. And that way, you know what I mean, you say how you feel, but you don't like, I'm careful not to, like, I don't care what people think, but at the same time, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I just want to maintain a very social relationship, and also just I guess a cordial relationship, especially at work, because I mean that's where I make my money, and I don't want to create enemies or anything like that.
Right.
That part. That's where you make your money, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and we still have we got a few minutes left, and this has actually been a great conversation, man. Truly. And before we feel like, I want to get some final thoughts from you guys. So we're 2024 now, right? We got less than a month before the new year. So I know, right? Leave some final thoughts with everyone about some things that you want to take from 24 and carry that into 2025. And Keisha, we're going to start with you.
Okay, for me, I am going to prioritize my happiness. I feel like happiness is important. My happiness is important. And I'm definitely taking that into 2025. And whatever that looks like for me, it doesn't really matter what it looks like for anybody else. But whatever that looks like for me, that's what I'm hanging on to.
Absolutely. All right, Shannon, what you got, sis?
So I'm taking out of 2024 still just me accepting who I am. And with that, in 2025, I want to challenge myself more professionally. Like I have some professional goals that I want to achieve. And I think the last few years have made me kind of feel like I just need to find somewhere and kind of sit there and hide out, right? Until the end, see what the end gonna be. But going through the journey of just realizing that, hey, you can trust your instincts, you can trust yourself. You know yourself, you know what you can do, you know what you bring to the table. Like it ain't over yet, girl, right? Go challenge yourself, go grow, go keep being the greatest, best version of you can possibly be. So that's what I want to do in 2025. Keep focusing on that.
For sure. And for me, honestly, my new favorite phrase is fuck them people.
It's
hey,
t-shirt.
So listen, I am so at the point right now where I am like, my entire life has been about placating people and appeasing people and really working to not step on any toes or hurt anybody's feelings. But right now it's all, I'm not saying it's all about me, but it's all about me being like, I can't be the person I want to be if I'm not happy.
Right.
So I can only be happy if I am the best version of myself. So I can't really worry about what people are saying or what people are thinking. And people think I joke when I say I really don't care what people think. I really don't. Like people can say and I mean, they're not gonna. I mean, what are you gonna do? People can talk about you behind your back. So what? Let them talk. You know what I mean? So you're not hurting anything. So unless you come to me and put your hands on me and threaten my family, like it, I ain't really got nothing else to say for you, man. So it's you have to, I know we've been using this phrase the whole show, like liberating. This is the freest I've been in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? And I just and that's why. And again, I got daughters, so that's why I preach it to them. You know, I mean, I got one daughter that she's like I am now. Like she gonna say what's on her mind. But I have another who's like I used to be, and she's very reserved and so caring. And it's frustrating, but I understand it because I was her. But so we got my oldest and youngest, but my oldest is always telling my youngest, girl, you don't worry about what them girls say about you. You ain't got, you know what I mean? So just telling her stuff like that, and I appreciate that. And that's really my focus right now. So I really, as long as the people in my household are okay with the person I am, I'm good. Now, if they start having issues, then I know I need to do some adjusting. But as long as they're okay with who I am, I'm okay with that. But I think that as far as 2025 goes, we need to keep that same momentum. And like, you know what I mean? Live your life, man. Be who you are. And be unapologetic about it.
That's right.
That's me.
Wait, we got another word. Unapologetic. Okay, look at
unapologetic.
Nah,
okay, Keisha, man, we gotta have you back, man.
Self-awareness.
Keisha,
unapologetic.
Let me know when.
Yeah, we gotta have you back for another episode, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. This is one of our calmer episodes, which
I know, right? Now, in the next
we just going at it, but I like that you joined us, Keisha. Yeah, I like that.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
I know.
Coming back. Let me know when, and I'll make myself available.
Oh, definitely. For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll the next podcast won't be until the 19th, so a couple weeks from tonight. We don't have a topic yet, but we'll have it together soon. So we'll certainly be hollering at for sure. But until next time, man, this has been great. So Keisha, thank you. You did great for your first time, and we hope to have you back. Shannon, as always, we appreciate everything you do, man. Love you, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
All right, y'all take care. Night.